What's up, everybody? A few months ago, I bought a brush cutter for my Skidsteer. It's the RUT Manufacturing 60-inch mower slash brush cutter. So if you're in the market for an inexpensive brush cutter, and or if you have an older Skidsteer like mine and you've been wondering, I wonder what kind of cutting this machine is really capable of, then this video is for you. I was considering a few different cutters, and ultimately I chose the RUT Mower because it's a little lighter, and I didn't want to waste money on more cutter than my Bobcat could handle anyway. I've got about 43 horsepower, about 14.5 gallons a minute of auxiliary hydraulic flow, so not a lot to work with. And RUT has a good reputation for their products and their customer service, so that combined with the fact that this mower was one of the cheapest options. But I'm going to cut to the chase. I'm kind of disappointed in it for a couple of reasons. One of them being those lighter brush hog style blades instead of the axe style wedges you see on a lot of brush cutters, but more on that in a minute. My primary goal is to cut down tag alder. It's been encroaching on all of these old fields I have. So I want to mow it back, reclaim the fields. And tag alder is super soft. The cutter is advertised at being able to take down 3-inch diameter trees, no problem. Most of my tag alder here is probably 2 inches on average. So theoretically, there shouldn't be an issue. But as you can see, as I let this clip play out in real time, it's a bit of a task. You have to keep stopping and letting the blades spin up, and then you move forward and you take a couple of violent whacks and then it stops and you have to back up and let it spool up again, and it's kind of a pain. I promise I will reward your patience here with some fun time-lapse clips in a minute, but I just kind of want you to see the process, and as boring as this is to watch, it's even more painful in person. Now, I will say that the blades are well made. I've hit rocks, fence posts, and the dirt plenty of times, and they haven't bent or anything. However, I do have this incredibly annoying problem where the high-pressure hydraulic line that goes to the drive motor keeps loosening up and leaking on me. Every hour or two, I need to stop and tighten it, and I've used Loctite. I've tightened the ever-living daylight out of the thing, and it just keeps leaking. And in fact, the original hose eventually blew apart on me, and RUT sent me a replacement, but this new one has already loosened up a couple times as well. So if you have any ideas for me, let me know in the comments, because I would be more than happy for some suggestions on how to keep that from happening. I also had the entire drive motor actually loosen up on the deck, and the whole skid steer was shaking like an unbalanced washing machine. But I got those bolts tightened up with a 4-foot pipe, so hopefully they're not going anywhere again. One thing that does live up to the hype are those steel tracks on the skid steer. I absolutely love those things. I love not having to worry about getting stuck if I go out in the fields after a rain. I've got more pushing power, more lifting capability, and I think they help protect the tires a little bit too in a job like this. They're low-juring trailblazers, and I've only had them for a couple of months, so time will tell, but for now, I absolutely love them. Give them an A+. Back to the cutter. I honestly wish I had spent a bit more for one with a heavier arbor and the X-style, the traditional X-style blades. I think my skid steer could handle a slightly heavier deck, and maybe I'm just being a little unrealistic in my expectations. But after talking to some other people with smaller skid steers and heavier dutier cutters, they just seem to get better results. So I don't know. I might just use this thing for the smaller trees and try to trade up or sell it, and that's the joint that keeps leaking on me. Luckily, there's nothing going on at the minute, but it's just a matter of time. So I'll give you one more quick look under the deck here. You've got your brush hog style blades, and they do have on top of the arbor here. They do have these little guides that are for winding up wire if you happen to hit a fence or whatever. It's supposed to protect the arbor. and those blades on, or those bolts on top there are the ones that had loosened up on me and caused the whole thing to vibrate. You can see a little bit of seeping, so I think maybe that motor is still leaking a little bit, but anyway, it's holding up, but definitely a little bit of a disappointment, and I just wanted to share that in case you're considering getting a Skidsteer brush hog mower. So there you go. Thanks for watching.